Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 of EG versus DK. You're watching Beyond the Summits World Tour. This is the round of 8, game number 1. Boy, that was a hell of a game. In the end, it goes the way of EG, so they're sitting on a 1-0 lead. If they win this game 2, they will take the series and move on to the round of 4. If they lose, we'll head to a deciding game 3. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com, and joining me is Nebula, and together we are David and Brett. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it as David and David, but there you go. Nebula, how you doing after that game 1, man?
Man, I kind of have we done the David cast yet? Has that happened?
We did it for the pregame. We haven't done it for an actual cast yet.
we need to get a me and God's pregame going on so we can have a David, and Brett. Just kind of I've changed my name to David. I'll go legally get it changed.
I'm with
we
you,
can
man.
have a quad David going on. I think it'd be pretty sick.
Anyway,
game 2 EG versus DK here. Now, in game 1 we saw really some epic almost comeback from DK there as EG. I think that was a wonderfully played game on just about both sides, to be honest. I think EG had a little bit of questionable decision making in the middle. I think it took them probably not quite as long as it took us to figure out that they didn't need to be split pushing. I think right after they lost that battle, I think both us as well as EG figured out, oh, we just need to go as 5. Like this isn't working like this. And then once they did that, the game was pretty solidly in hand. Though there was a pretty fantastically climactic battle in front of Roshan. I really like it when games end in a big climactic confrontation like that. I feel like that's the best resolution to a game.
It's very satisfying. That was one of those.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
That was one of those fight scenes where I wish I wanted like Clint Mansell to be, playing some Requiem for a Dream music with the epic violins going. Oh man, if only we could have music going on in the background of our cast. Unfortunately, that stuff is copyright and perhaps a little distracting, but EG, they win game 1 off the back, not just of the Tinker, although he did have a pretty high impact in the late game. Bulba struggled early on, but we saw Tinker can be shut down early and still claw his way back in the game, especially if he goes for the March build, stacking up the Ancients all game long. This time he will be on the Radiant side, so while EG will have a harder time getting that Roshan, and we saw last game, man does Roshan make a difference. Without it, I would go so far as to say DK definitely wins that game if the sides are flipped. But either way, they get the Tinker, and DK going to go with some similar picks from last game. rotk to start, and then Leshrac to follow up. I believe Leshrac was banned in the first stage last time around.
Yeah, a couple interesting things happens here. First off, DK banned the Broodmother, a nice choice. Typically, anytime a team gets beaten by Broodmother, they have a very strong tendency in anger to ban it the next game. I think it's a very common thing. Broodmother's a very frustrating hero to play against in that regard. But more interesting to me is EG banned Lycanthrope, and they have the first pick. That's not something you see very often. Most teams will force the other team to ban Lycanthrope, knowing that most teams don't want to give that away. That screams to me that EG actually doesn't want to pick Lycan, which is very weird. It would seem to me that most teams just want to have Lycan. Like if you said, "Hey, would you like to have Lycan on a team?" They'll go, "Yeah." So I think EG is probably thinking, maybe there's a problem there with if they pick Lycan, the opposing team can pick 2 heroes that they don't really want to have to battle through. That said, DK go for what they first picked last game is rotk. Clearly, DK has a lot of respect for rotk as a hero. I mean, they first picked him last game. They immediately snap picked him here, as well as the Leshrac, which gives them a lot more team fight on top of their pushing potential. They're going to go ahead and grab the Vino yet again here, but this time the Beastmaster's on the other side, as well as the Chen. So the pushing on DK maybe not quite as early aggressive as it could be as compared to last game.
Well, I'm not sure we're going to see the quad lane experiment this time around.
That experiment was a resounding failure, I'll say.
Now, the one thing I will say is I think any hero except for Broodmother would not have been successful in that situation. Even the Windrunner probably would have given up a first blood there. But Broodmother with the webs, the mobility, as well as forcing out the sentry wards, once that first set is gone, there's no way to kill her. And we saw Fear did a great job dealing with it. If they want to, maybe not a quad lane, but even if they want to run an aggressive tri-lane here, look for some early pushing, they might have a little more success this time around. Now, as far as EG, they get a Beastmaster, so they get some great initiation. They have Tinker to kind of spread the map and provide that burst damage. Chen to give you a little bit of survivability to work with, as well as a global presence in his own right with the heal. So for EG, they get a little bit of everything, whereas for DK, I guess they do too in a certain sense, but mostly these are very squishy, intelligence-based heroes. rotk and Leshrac need a good amount of levels. Even the Venomancer does too. So as far as the supporting cast goes, this is about as needy of a supporting cast as it gets. But they're very, very powerful in the early stage. And I think that's the thing for EG is they really like to have strong lanes early on too. And it's to me, that's why they're not a big team to pick up Lycan. they like to have tiers like Tinker, Ched, Beastmaster who can control the lanes early and then still have a big mid-game impact. Maybe not quite as big as a Lycan, but still quite a lot.
Man, I feel like Lycan is actually a really underrated laning hero. I don't think he's amazing in lane, but I mean, similar to a Furion where you summon the Treants and you kind of charge after the opposing hero and get a lot of harass. Now, obviously, the Treants have the buff of they have a lot more HP than the Wolves, so you can't just right-click them away to solve that problem. They're just going to be there. Right. The Lycan Wolves are equally very strong at harassing in the lane. I mean, again, they're easier to kill, but they hit way harder. I mean, they basically do as much damage as another hero in the lane. So I think Lycan's a little underrated. In fact, we saw Na'Vi pick up Lycanthrope and run him solo mid and just use those wolves to deny the runes on both sides. Basically, it's impossible to stop a Lycan from denying all the runes. You just really can't do it. And coupled with that, I mean, if he's against any hero that isn't just going to insta-give him in the middle lane, he's very strong. So I think Lycan's a lot better laner than people give credit for. Yes, he's capable of jungling, and that's what every pub player knows. They understand, and Lycan rolls out at 10 minutes, and he's got a BKB, MKB, Heart Satanic, and we're just dead. But, like, in a competitive game, I think laning is really something that he's capable of. But that said, EG do not opt to do any of the sort as they just banned him. Now, DK on the other side, they go ahead and ban the Syllabear, which is a hero that EG would like to pick. They do enjoy grabbing Syllabears and going for that kind of power push in the middle to late game. I feel like EG is starting to turn a little bit into a similar like MTW team, in that they like to be aggressive and have strong lanes, but they really aren't they're not in too much of a rush to push, but they're not looking to necessarily go mega carry, if that makes sense.
That last game that we saw, absolutely right. They were not in any rush to push, and well, we saw it almost ended up costing them. But generally, EG is a little bit more aggressive, especially players. I mean, we saw Demon with the Blink Dagger on the Windrunner going for the drive-by shackle shot. He's an aggressive player, fear diving the base at times. I would say EG are naturally a bit more aggressive than MTW, but in terms of their overall strategy, they are favoring a similar approach, going for heroes that can pressure all over the map, trying to secure map control in towers early on, and then using that momentum to snowball from there. We saw it last game. Here we're going to see a Tiny picked up. This is going to be played by Fear, so we're going to see a carry Tiny along the lines of what TC does for complexity. I am excited for this one. Hopefully we're going to see that phase, drums, agonyms, just the right-click DPS build. Of course, there's lots of other options. You can go for the Blink or the 4-staff, but for me, I like my Tinys fat, I like them massive, and I like them carrying a big club.
Immediately, I got messaged by Bamboo. That's amusing to me. I told him they picked Tiny. And anyway, so yeah, Tiny. I really enjoy this transition that Tiny has made. We've always seen Tiny be this wonderful ganger. Obviously, he throws out 1,000 damage just immediately, and you pick up a Blink Dagger and. You're just walking along, mind your own business, Crystal Man, you're like, who calls the... Oh, I'm dead! And all of a sudden, a bunch of massive rocks hit you, and you get thrown in the air, and it's a very painful, sad experience.
It is.
The transition into cleaving buildings at a rate of dead in 8 seconds is insane. 75% bonus damage when he picks up the Ag Scepter on buildings.
Oh, buddy!
With like a massive menace is ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right, and it brings to mind the one game that Dendy had for Na'Vi. I think you might have been casting that one, or I know you watched it. We were talking about it. I'm pretty sure it was you. They win one team fight. Dendy gets 3 lanes of racks with that Aghanim's Assault Caress Tiny.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's one of the best pushers in the game, even as good as something like a Lone Druid, if not better, if you get up the right items. Now, Tiny needs more items to do it, but when he gets those items, he's very scary. So for DK...
But what I find so interesting... I find so interesting, I just one more comment here. What I find so interesting is that he's a ganger that turns into that. Those are very few and far between.
Right.
Heroes that are just purely, I'm going to jump you and kill you.
That's a great
And
point.
then later on, I'm just going to decimate everything.
Yeah, Lone Druid, he can get some kills with Entangle, but mostly he's just this... he's sort of like a Broodmother. You can't really cut him out of the lane. He's strong early in the lane, and then he gets so tanky, just pushing and pressuring constantly. But you're right, not really a ganker. So Tiny, pretty unique in that regard, and can fill that hard carry role. DK opts for a melee carry in the form of Faceless Void. This is something DK has run once before in this tournament, and the time that they ran it, Burning got a first blood, he had a 4-minute hand of Midas, and it all kind of fell apart from there. Now, I'm not sure we're going to see that kind of farm this time around, that kind of feeding from EG. But DK gets some great initiation. They have ROTK with Telekinesis. We saw he went for 4-staff last game. They have Time Walk into a Chronosphere. Not to mention Gale, Burrow Strike. DK, so many ways to find the kills here. My one concern for this team is going to be how are they going to deal with that Tinker? There's not a whole lot of mobility around the map right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am a bit distracted.
That's okay, man.
I'm really... I'm getting mass message. So Burning's Void. I'm a huge Void fan. I know a lot of people hate this hero because he's kind of boring in the middle, the early to mid game, because you really just want to right-click every single creep. And unlike Morphling, he doesn't have that interesting, oh, I've got a shotgun, and now I'm blowing people away. He's very much a, everybody hold still.
But he's got a big mace. He's got a really big mace.
Mace on your face. And he just, like, he walks in there, and he just stands there while everybody's not moving, and he just, like, hits somebody to death. Like, it's a very, very non-interactive hero. However, I love him. I love him. I think he's one of the most fun heroes to play in Dota. The Chronosphere is easily one of the most powerful team fight abilities. He's a carry hero that has a ton of initiation. He's also very difficult to kill because of his natural phase. Plus, he's got a blink-like skill that gives you that initiation ability. So, we're going to see burning on the Void hero, rotk on that yet again. Playing the Rubik. Zippo again on the Venomancer. Super this time is going to be on the Leshrac and LongDD on that SK.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a farming Leshrac. I am excited for this. It's something we've seen a lot of supports Leshrac. It could be a support, but generally Super will be getting some farm. So for Bernie, Poor Man Shield picked up, will be pulled some regen. There you go. Tango's in the inventory for him. So Burning gonna be pretty survivable in lane. LongDD, where will he go with from here? Looks like he bought the Courier, and he's gonna be heading mid. They're gonna dual lane mid, Super and LongDD. rotk soloing the off lane is Rubik from the looks of things, and this is something we saw EG do the same thing. Demon soloed the offlane as Rubik, and let me tell you, that game, possibly the best Rubik performance I've ever seen given the laning situation. He couldn't even enter the lane, he was up against a tri-lane, so he farmed the Ancients for a little bit, he caught a couple runes, and then somehow the tri-lane sort of dissipates, and he finds a way to get level 4 at like 5 or 6 minutes in, and from there it was pretty much the Demon show. So we'll have to see, can rotk replicate that kind of performance? But
this is interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Is Rubik really capable of solo laning the hard lane? I feel like he doesn't really have the tools to do that. I guess they have properly identified that there is going to be a solo Tinker on bottom. Now, there is a Chin in the jungle here. I feel like rotk could be in a bad spot. I don't think that this is naturally
Speaking of bad spots, Universe, gotta be careful here. He's gonna run away, but that Crystal Maiden moving quite slowly. Even Venomancer can track her down, give enough time, and pretty aggressive play here. So we didn't actually formally introduce EG. Let me do that real quick. Demon's going to be playing the Beastmaster, heading to the offlane as he always does. Universe going to be playing Crystal Maiden. Ward picked up. He'll be going, looks like mid perhaps. Sphere on the Tiny will be that hard carry, or at least he normally is, but maybe this game we'll see a more aggressive style. maelk on the Chen. He's got a smoke picked up in his own jungle, and Bulba on the bottom lane. By himself for the moment, and, well, you're right. If rotk is up against Bulba, he'll be able to get some farm. Now, he has to be worried about maelk, and the one thing he doesn't have are wards to spot the ganks. Not that they would help if the smoke is used. It could be a tough lane for rotk. It really comes down to what maelk wants to do. Does he want to gank that bottom lane? Does he want to lend some help towards mid? Or does he just want to farm? We've seen that before from maelk as well.
Yeah, but because of the dual lane in middle, the nature of the SK and the Leshrac, Crystal Main's going to have to hang out in middle, and he's going to know the minute Crystal Main leaves this lane. So he's going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive about laning and actually get himself a decent amount of last hits here. Now, I do want to mention a few things. We have a couple key or signature heroes here. As Demon's rocking a Beastmaster and maelk on that Chin, and of course Bulba's Tinker again. Fear's rocking the Glacial Tiny. I don't know if you've seen this before, but I'm a big fan of this skin.
It looks a lot better once you level up, but I love this skin. Absolutely. I have it myself.
When you get big, it's pretty... Really? Big trades? Go big trades after cast. Anyway, in middle, Crystal Main doing a little bit of harass on these... It looks like Super and DD are actually going to try and just swap farms here. Are they both going to last hits? Interesting. Oftentimes when you see this lane, you'll pick one of them to decide to camp on, whether you want the quick blink on the SK or whether you're going for a big carry Leshrac. But it looks like they're just going to go ahead and duel it up.
Well, maybe that's just a glitch or a spectator thing, because LongDD only has the one deny. It doesn't look like he's going for last hits, maybe just trying to help Super out. Sometimes if you have really good coordination, you can try and... Oh, top lane, Zippo, going on to Demon. Now, this is a lane where don't be surprised if they get a first blood against Demon, because Time Walk into a lucky bash into a lucky Time Walk early on can be enough. Time Walk, Time Block. They are different spells, guys, even if I'm making them sound similar. But that can be enough for kill, especially with Gale, as well as that Poison Sting. So, for Demon, he's going to have to be careful here. And also, pray to his gods that he doesn't get unlucky. I like the skill build coming out from Bernie.
Did he level it up?
Yep, he went for 1 point Time Walk, 1 point Time Lock. So he's going for the offensive build.
Then it ain't lucky.
10% chance, 10% chance. I'm going to call it lucky if he gets a badge.
Hey, if you hit him 10 times, it ain't lucky. Now, if you hit him once...
If he's hitting him 10 times, he's probably dead anyway, because that's about, what, 700 damage before reduction? That's almost Demon's entire life bar. So.
Yeah. So Venomancer, as you mentioned, he's one of the strongest supporters really in the game. Though he does need a bunch of levels because he wants to level up those wards. He wants to get to his ultimate. He needs to get at least a point in Poison Sting. And Venom Scale gets a lot better as you level it though. Level 1 is pretty good. Now he's going to be able to basically run Demon out this lane. Demon's going to try and do a couple pulls here. Chen has actually got himself an Invis rune. Long he's going bottom to try and pick it up. He's now going to know that that is gone. They do have a ward spot in the top, so they know that it's not up top. So they are aware that the rune has been picked up. The question is, are they wary of Chin coming middle, I wonder?
Uh-oh. Looks like we have some issues for the players. They can't see attack animation. They can't see creeps. It's the whole team.
That's a problem.
Oh, boy. They are from what I understand, they're at a LAN cafe in Denmark. They're staying at Rise's house. But
yeah,
everybody having the same issue. Usually.
Yeah. Probably some kind of like a blip in the internet to that LAN center while they were loading probably caused that or something.
Yeah, it could be that or maybe
I don't actually know if that's how that works. I know really nothing about computers, but I do know that Rise is a baller nerd. So big shout out to Rise for supporting esports here by housing all of EG. Now my question to Rise: are they paying you? Because my friend, if you're not being paid, you're doing it wrong. All right.
Oh, I don't know about that, but they're paying him with love, and maybe they'll give him a shout out if they end up winning the international or placing very high.
Here, I'll give him a shout out right now. There you go.
There you go. I'm not sure that's quite going to be compensation for 5 people crashing at your pad, but hey, man, he loves his Dota, and well, he should. So, really, no skin off his back. I'm sure to house these guys. Plus, from what I've seen, they're a pretty entertaining bunch. So. For DK, it's Bernie just absolutely free farming, and not just free farming, but also free denying here. 11 and 10, 2 minutes in. Don't be surprised if he rushes the hand of Midas. He likes to do it on Void. It's a really nice item to get on Void as well, because you get that extra attack speed, and also gives you the levels, which means the Chronosphere gets maxed out sooner, the Time Walk gets leveled up sooner, and really for Void, he's a hero that you want to max all of his abilities. So I think Midas is a particularly good pickup on him, even over other carries that sometimes go for it. And, well, if Bernie wants one, he's going to have one in pretty short order.
I mean, the 30% is really oftentimes neglected when you go to the hand of money. Most people just think, oh, gold, yay! Which, yeah, that's why you buy it, of course. But 30% attack speed on a hero that's looking to just bash you to death, or get as many attacks in as possible during a Chronosphere, is really way beyond relevant. It's actually very powerful. I mean, it's more attack speed than a Shreds, as we see First Blood here in middle. Leshrac did go down after that resumation of the game there. So
yeah,
EG does pick up a First Blood, so that's pretty big there.
He opted to try and turn around and throw down a Split Earth. I'm pretty sure if he just ran, he would have been absolutely fine. So kind of questionable play from Super. In the end, misses the Split Earth, gives up the First Blood, and, well, with that First Blood going the way of EG, that's going to be something quick for whoever ended up getting the kill, which was Fear. Looks like he has his bottle on the way. The boot's not far off, and a Tiny with an early bottle, as well as an early pair of boots. That means trouble, especially for the Shrek, and even for Log DD, so EG definitely have the advantage mid now, and maelk can now look to spread that advantage towards bottom. Smoked up with the Centaur, he's going to head in for Rubik. And if he gets a kill on both of these lanes in the first couple of minutes, that's going to be big trouble for DK. And that Void, played by Bernie, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him in the mid-game.
And one thing that ROTK could maybe notice and identify right now that he might not be is once Bulba starts right-clicking these creeps to try and push the lane because Chin's coming around from the backside. Uh-oh, is he going to catch the... Can he get the... Oh, he's going to miss the frog. The Frying Flog will not be going down this time, but it looks like ROTK maybe. We see an initiation from the creep, but it's actually going to die here. Well played there from ROTK, just throwing it away, and the Centaur stop completely misses. maelk's actually going to end up pulling the lane now. So this is a failure on multiple levels here for me.
Bulba is shaking his fist in rage right now.
Yeah.
Damn it, maelk, you failed the gank, and now you're taking my creeps too. Now, that's one thing we haven't really talked about is Rubik in the offlane. Telekinesis is very strong, especially against Shen. At keep you alive against these ganks. It was also a bit of luck for RTK. Went to go salve up pretty much the second before maelk came in the trees, so the timing just not being there. In the end, the gank fails, but no skin off EG's back, really. Not too much time be wasted. Even though they get that first blood mid, Burning is 27 and 16 in 4 minutes. Has he missed a creep? I want to say he's missed like 3 or 4 out of 32.
Knowing Burning is probably 1. I do want to mention that Bulba, very interestingly, has gone for laser rockets here. He is not going for March of the Machines. This is definitely a game, a game decision here. Is they have a Void on their side that I assume They're going to want the
Top
game
lane.
relatively soon.
Burning time
We're gonna
walks
see
in,
an
Demon
initiative on
TPing out. Trying to get away, here gets
big
bashed!
bash.
Oh no, he's gonna go down. Burning
Oh my
gets
god,
the
how
kill.
lucky, how lucky. But yeah, Demon is going to go down there, so nice kill there. And it was on the burning, so man, there's a good chance we're going to see a ridiculously fat Void this game. And a ridiculously fat Void is not a sentence any team wants to be playing against, I'll tell you that.
If he wants it.
But going back to the laser
Midas.
rocket point, I just want to say I think this is 100% for the Void.
Well, the laser max leveling up early on. As long as he doesn't backtrack, it is fantastic against him. In the middle lane, Sankey went down again. Another kill going the way of EG here. Meanwhile, RTK trading some blows with maelk. But if we're gonna have to see with burning builds, to me, the fact that he hasn't spent this gold yet means he wants that Midas. Looks like the courier was required mid. Super boots and bottle up in spite of the deaths here. They're still getting the basic items. Long DD, the one who's suffering. Wouldn't be surprised if they give him a little bit of farm just to get the boots up, because without it, he's a sitting duck for this Tiny.
Yeah, Fear's starting to accrue the items necessary to start boulder bashing or bouldering everybody to death or whatever. Rocking him? Rocking him. There you go. That's decent. So anyway, here he's got himself boots. He's at 550. He's got the necessary stats. He's picked up 2 armored branches and a circlet. And on Tiny, that's very important early on because you don't actually have enough mana to cast anything. So cast both rather. So picking that up is pretty good. He's got himself a TP scroll. I would look in the next level or 2 for Tiny to really start ganking. He's going to TP back middle and continue his farm a little bit longer, but if he gets himself a Midas, or not a Midas, or arcane boots, or maybe some kind of mobility here, I think the kills are going to start coming quick and heavy here.
Well, RTK is mid, he's invis, and by the way, this offlane does work out for him. He doesn't get ganked, he's also level 6 now. Some great spells for him to steal, whether it's the roar, the rockets, the laser, the avalanche, the toss, pretty much all of it's going to be gravy. That's the bottom line. He leaves, he heads mid, but nice job by EG. They're sitting back. They didn't actually have a ward, so this is just pure map awareness coming out for them. And, well, RTK, the gank fails. He's going to head back bottom. Bulba is farming. He's not really keeping pace with burning, but he's still keeping a decent chunk of creeps his way.
He's now put 2 points into March, so he's gone a 3-2-2 build. Not a common build, I'm going to say. I think maybe he's made a bit of another changer. He's decided, we're not going to be ganking that Void anytime soon. We're just going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just hang out here and continue to farm as much as possible. So he's gone ahead and transitioned into more March build. So just interesting, instant speed decisions here from Bulba. I really like this. This really shows his versatility and understanding of Tinker. He reads the situation immediately and adjusts accordingly. So I think that's really wonderful.
And Demon is not having fun top. So he's available to stack those Ancients, whether it's with the Boar or with the Hero, as he really can't lane top anymore, especially with Bernie having the Chronosphere, level 3 Time Lock, level 2 Time Walk. Very aggressive build from him. And the boots as well as the Midas up, plus 1 Venomancer Gale. You're not living. At most, you force out a Chronosphere. And here we go for Demon, checking the top rune with the Hero, pulling with the Boar. Great play by him. But he's going to run into 2 DK. Here's the ward, spot him out. Gale is going to hit. Only level 3. He has the TP scroll. The Nova on 2. Forcing the back. In comes Spear. Super held in place. Avalanche on the Super. Toss as well. Super goes down. Burrow straight coming through. Not enough. And now Long DD with no boots is absolutely screwed. He has no way out of here. Maybe Burrow straight onto the high ground. Will it be in time? Toss. Toss incoming. Long DD can Burrow strike. Not going to. Just going to accept his fate. Was almost certainly going to die there anyway. Double kill for Fear. And EG just having more heroes at the point of attack, they pick up a couple.
Yeah, they have a lot of AoE. I mean, the one thing that SK's Sandstorm is really not going to be very effective this game. I mean, between March of the Machines and Tiny and Crystal Maiden, I mean, there's just a lot of AoE here, as well as all these Centaurs that Chin's just rolling around with. Sandstorm is going to be not much of an evasion here. It's really going to be a little bit of a dodge. I can dodge a rocket for a second. That's about the best it's going to be as far as survivability goes. But they get those kill on Tiny, which is a big deal. He's now sitting at 1430. I believe this is going up here to pick up his arcane boots, would be my guess. Let's see. Arcanes. No, a point booster. Wow. So he's going for instant ags.
Carry Tiny.
Okay.
There you go. And normally the build is the phase boots, Aghanim. Sometimes you get a drum. At least TC likes to go for that. But he opts for the point booster because Tiny pretty reliant on that mana. He really only has enough for 2 combos with the bottle. And well, this point booster will help solve that bottom lane, though. It's RTK being initiated on Bulba. Turns around to drop the march. Thrown back in the tower. But the burst damage. Too much. Burrow strike in. Bulba's going to take a fall. And really, you're free farming Tinker. For RTK, not the best trade. Sand King gets a kill. Long DD now has those desperately needed boots. And here comes the pressure middle lane. Fear leaves for a moment. He gets the point booster, but Super takes away about half the damage on the tower. And the beauty of everything for DK right now they can just leave Bernie alone up top. He's absolutely fine. He can probably solo kill Demon with 1 or 2 lucky bashes. And Demon's just hiding in the trees. He wants no part of this nasty Faceless Void.
Yeah, he's already made up the gold on the Midas. He's sitting at another 1900. He has, of course, purchased the hand of Midas. Uh-oh, Demon. Oh, Demon. Demon is hiding in the trees, but if Burning smells him, nope, he's not going to be able to
Shark in the water, not going to find the scent.
Yeah, not quite. Now, if he saw the summon there, because he could have maybe guessed that Demon went in to find there, but of course you can't see up into that as Burning. Demon has gone ahead and cut a tree down to run in there, so he is hidden for now. He's just leeching XP is really all he's trying to accomplish at this point. But now he's in a bit of a bad place because he can't leave and go down there because Super and Burning will kill him almost instantly, so he's got to hope that they push this lane back.
I don't know if they can deal with a Void this big. EG are really going to have to pull off some spectacular ganks. He's 1,700 gold ahead of EG's next 2 closest farmers. That being the Tinker and the Tiny. And Chronosphere is a kind of spell where if you want to go for the glass cannon build, you catch a couple, you're going to wipe a team or at least set up your team to wipe it. And that's something we haven't talked about with DK at all, is the synergy between these heroes. Burning drops the Chrono, Epicenter Blink or Blink into it, or Epicenter Burrow Strike in. Venomancer can do a bunch of AoE damage on top of it. Rubik can steal some good spells, can throw the nukes in there as well. This Chronosphere, it's not just the solo Chrono, it's got some strong backup behind it.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, Bulba and Fear both have a decent amount of farm. We got 3.4 for the Tinker, though he did die once, 3.2 on Fear. It looks like, or Tiny rather. That top tower is going to go down. Burning does last hit that as well, so just ensuring that he is going to be...
He is filthy rich.
Just a monster. He's going to, yeah, he's at 3k gold now, and he already had that Midas. If he wants to, he can go for the Battle Fury now.
It's going to be a
obviously
Battle Fury. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, it'll give you a bunch of cleave and Chrono, and of course, on top of all that, it allows you to just power down creep waves, and he'll be able to start turning into a bit of an anti-mage here, just jumping around the jungle.
Bottom lane.
Taking down...
Bulba gets caught out. Looks like he will go down here to the Epicenter. Chen Heal was used, not going to be enough. Love DD with the burst strike in. RTK with the follow-up, and well, we're seeing for DK, they have some strong gankers. Bulba just out on an island, no lane ward for him. Or actually, no, there is a lane ward. He just didn't see the gank coming in time. Bulba gets caught out again. The Ancients are heavily stacked, and if he wants to go farm them, now might be the time, but he already has his boots of travel, so maybe this will go to Demon, who, by the way, is really far behind. Level 4, 12 minutes in. One of the few times I've seen Demon get completely shut down in the offlane.
Well, that Venomancer just did so much work and really kept him off the lane completely. The decision to put Veno up there, I really think that EG did not expect Rubik to solo bottom. And when Rubik didn't have any problems in that bottom lane, I think that really put them behind a lot. The top didn't go well. Now, they do get the Venomancer in middle, but it looks like we may see a toss onto Universe. Yep, Universe is going to go down. Maybe Fear as well. Ooh, Fear, I think he's going to die to the poison. The Venomous... Oh, it's just Poison Nova, not Venomous Gale, so he will be able to survive that. So he's going to get away. It looks like nobody's going to be there to stop him, but a one-for-one trade. Not really bad. I feel like if DK, they just really want to tread water in the other lanes. As long as they're treading water, that Void is going to do all the work they need later on.
Void isn't really treading water. He's Michael Phelps here. He's just lapping everybody time after time, getting massive as all get out. And for EG, they have some ways to deal with him. Don't get me wrong. The Roar, when it comes online, that can be very powerful to counter Void. He has to catch Beast Master from the Chronos here. Also, you talked about the laser providing the blind effect as well as the burst damage. Burning by no means is guaranteed to carry this. But if you ever want to try and carry a game as Faceless Void, I think a 13-minute hand of Midas Battle Fury boots is a good way to go about it. Well, he needs
a pretty solid start.
Needs a couple more creeps here, but he's just about there. This is some of the fastest farm I've seen for Burning on any hero. Let alone one like Faceless Void, who generally is not a flash farmer.
We are going to have a 4-hero smoking up top as EG has decided that they have had enough of this shenanigans. Burning will die here. There's going to be immediate assassination. Everybody just fired. They threw the kitchen sink right at Burning, and Burning was like, guess what, guys? I already bought the Battle Fury. It's too late. Too late.
He is dead for 30 seconds, but even the Midas is on cooldown. So as far as a death goes, sure, it's an important kill for EG to get. But it requires 4 heroes. It requires a smoke. Was it 5? No, I think Crystal Beta is just coming back good. But either way, they required a number of heroes. And well, Burning already spent his gold, already used his Midas, and really, is it that bad for DK that he dies? Probably not. And meanwhile, they're farming mid. They're getting something up on these supports who will need to be. They need to contribute in the mid game. Long DD's got the Arcane Boots, 600 gold in the bank. Super Point Booster Arcane Boots, Zippo even Arcane Boots, mass Arcane Boots all around. If there's ever, even on RTK, if there's ever such a thing as too much Arcane Boots, it might be this time around. But they do have a lot of spammable spells on their team. And, Well, Rubik's gonna be
No
happy.
such thing as too many arcane boots, kid. Now, kid, how old are you actually?
I think I'm older than you.
Are you? I don't know. I'm pretty old. I'm an old man.
I'm 26.
Anyway, Bulba has got himself a little bit of ancient stacking there, so he got himself some far. Now he has got his BOTs. I agree, Atri. I agree completely. My brain would explode. So, you know, they're starting to get a couple of those big items up, and if they can get, you know, again, they are capable of just blowing Burning away before he can do anything. The problem
bottom lane, LDd gets caught out.
Initiated on here. They're gonna get him March. Yep, down he will go. maelk actually just goes ahead and drops that nuke. And as I mentioned earlier on, that's the problem. Sandstorm doesn't do anything here. He can drop that March and force him to run away, and that allows maelk to snoop him.
Oh, they gank Burning, but it's not enough. That ever so crucial backtrack.
Oh, I think they're gonna get him.
Oh, they get him.
There's
there
the
you go.
laser. So that's a big kill. The second kill on Burning in a row is, however, a big kill because his Midas. Oh no, he actually used it again. But still, the second kill now. They've shut his farm down for a solid 2-3 minutes here now, where he hasn't really been farming. They're starting to catch up. He's still at 108, and there is 73 on that Tinker. It's not like they're mega close, but they're starting to slow him down, which is really important because he was out of control for the first 14 minutes. They literally didn't even. It's like they didn't even know he existed.
Well, I think they knew, they just weren't ready to do anything. But yeah, you're right. It is like they didn't know. By the way, look at maelk, level 10 on his Chen already. Almost has the mechanism picked. This is an outrageously level Chen, and well, he's been farming most of the game, so that's what you expect bottom lane.
Bulba, he's going to go down. Epicenter gets dropped. There's the stun, and he will die. So a counter kill there, and in fact, LongDD picks that one up. He does have arcanes. He's at 550 gold, and with the leveled up Edict on bottom here, I think they can pressure this tower a little bit. Though it looks like EG's going to come defend it. And they're going to very wisely back off.
One thing I want to point out is we haven't really seen the full potential of DK's lineup yet. There hasn't been a Chronosphere. There hasn't been any AoE ults on top of that Chronosphere. To me, EG, they're doing well now, but they're going to have to keep it up, because if you give Bernie a moment to breathe, he gets up the power treads and then probably the BKB directly after it. Well, your combo's not going to do a whole lot. He's almost guaranteed to at least get off the Chrono, and really, this is a game where Bernie doesn't have to do too much damage at this point in the game. Sure, you're up against the Chen, but they have enough AoE, they have enough levels on these supports where he just has to set up a good Chrono, and that's the scary thing, is if he does get to do the damage, he's going to melt through EG pretty quickly as well. So I still think DK is in a great position here, and to me the pressure still very much on EG to keep on fighting these ganks, keep on fighting these this aggression, and the big thing for me is no towers yet with a Beastmaster, a Chen, and a Tinker. Not something you normally expect to see.
Yeah, they do have all the necessary tools. I mean, they have the gang potential, and they have the heroes capable of continuing to do that. It's just a question of execution now at this point. They do have treads on their Tiny, actually. Hero's going to go for that. We see a toss into a Roar. Very nice combo there. TP in as well from Bulba, and ROTK will go down. And in fact, we see 2 TPs in here. One of them's going to be LongD, but Universe comes around from the backside. We do see a Crystal. Oh, he's going to be able to Burrow Strike away. Zippo's going to be the next one. We see a toss from a creep, not able to take down LongDD. Nice attempt there from Fear. But they do get 1 kill and maybe this tower. So I think they have all the tools. It's just a question of can they do it. Now, I was talking about the treads on Fear. Usually you see the phase boots, as you mentioned, but he's going for just the attack speed here.
Yeah, just really trying to maximize his right-click power. He has some good follow-up lockdown on his team, at least for the moment. Oh, super TP's out. Will be in time, just in time. One thing I want to point out is still Bernie is not joining the team fights. He was waiting for the Kerr. He didn't have his TP scroll on him as Zippo right around the Rosie here, but you're not running from a Rock Man with haste and Fear. Into the pit they go. Avalanche toss, perfect combo. Rockets clean him up. EG fighting kill after kill by RTK. Maybe gonna have something to say about that of his own. The Fade Bolt comes in. Still Bernie not joining the fight, being tower dove as RTK. Where are you, Bernie? Come help your team. No, he just wants to push. Finally, he TP's in. It's too late for RTK, and well, that haste to Tiny, he's just gonna run away. Very surprised Bernie took so long to join the fight and then decide to anyway, but maybe he'll find some kills. It's going to be tough with Demon having the Hawk up, but in they come. They were smoked. Burrow strike in, and we're going to see Bernie jumps on top to follow. The kill goes the way of LongDD. Another single hero Epicenter, but they do get the kill.
Yeah, Epicenter's not such a... I mean, it's got a long cooldown for sure, but it's not such an important skill that you can't just use it to get kills. I mean, as long as you can kill it, it's okay. Now, Fear is going to get caught by Burning here. We're going to see a Chronosphere even being dropped on him. Now, this one has to work. Super is going to hit the slam, and there it is, and in fact, Fear is going to go down. So they do get a kill off of it, but that's a bit more aggressive. Chronosphere is not quite like Epicenter. It is a shorter cooldown, but it's a little more important for the team strategy.
Right, especially for this team, because you do not want to let heroes like Tinker spam their nukes. You're still pretty squishy overall, and Sand King can try and walk in for Burst Strike, but realistically, we saw it in the last fight. He tries to walk in, he eats the March, he eats a rocket, a laser to the face, and he's pretty much dead. He's at the very best running for his life. Burning is the big initiator for this team, make no mistake about it. Once Sand King gets a Blink Dagger, maybe that changes, but for now, it is all Burning. And like you said, Chronosphere, as far as big AoE teamfight ultimates go, I want to say this is the best one. The cooldown is quite low, and it's so powerful for that cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that it's better than Ravage. Ravage is pretty OP, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Ravage is a pretty insane skill.
I'm with you. Also, you know, of course, Tidehunter doesn't really require farm like Faceless Void does. There are some differences, but this goes through BKB, and the cooldown is lower. So there could be an argument to be made that Chrono is better, especially in the late game. But for the moment, either way, Tide's not in this game, and Burning happily farming away. Tread's picked up. We'll have to see where he goes from here. He doesn't... I feel at this point he just needs to tank up, and maybe a BKB first, and then you go for some damage, a lifesteal perhaps, because at that point you're pretty much unkillable during the BKB.
Yeah, the one downside, of course, to the Midas Battle Fury build, while it gives you a lot of farm, you're sitting on... he was just on 900 gold, obviously, or on 900 HP. Of course, he wasn't on Strike Treads at that point. But with Strike Treads, he's on only 1100. And again, the sheer amount of nukes, as we saw earlier, if they just throw those nukes at him, he will die. He will have to get seriously lucky with the backtracks to survive that barrage. And it's very unlikely. But past that, you know, at this point, if he just buys HP, his gold is just gonna continue to spiral. Like, he's gonna continue to get more and more at an expedited rate for the rest of the game. We're gonna see another smoke gang here. Again, we're gonna see the match of the gang. There's the roar. We see a TPN. Kitchen Zink's gonna be thrown at him. He's gonna go down yet again, as I mentioned. He really can't survive that. And Burning, despite all of his early farms, he's sitting at 164 creep kills. It's pretty nice, but he is 1-3. And as you mentioned, he hasn't really shown up to team fights in any kind of timely time. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
You know, Nebula, it's getting to the point now where if you're DK, you just smoke up his 4 and sit behind Burning. Or at least smoke up a couple heroes to try and turn things around, because EG are clearly going to smoke gank him all day long. It helps that they're seeing DK in the lanes, but they got to do something to make an adjustment here. You can't have Burning die this many times. Or maybe you can. I mean, everybody else is getting some farm, so we'll see if it works out. Top lane, though, Zippo gets caught in. 2 hero stun coming out from Tiny. rotk still alive, though. Stealing something from Fear, that being the toss. Not really the spell you want, but it's a decent one to have. Super taking some damage, slowed, held in place, lockdown. Not going to be enough to kill off maelk, and now it looks like Super will go down. One more laser, does the trick. Boy, oh boy, do they want that Chronosphere. Unfortunately, they don't have it. Burning TPs to the tier 2, and takes the long way around. He's just going to go far, man. Bernie wants no part of this EG lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a decent choice. I mean, obviously, at this point, he can't take it. Like, we know that he cannot tank those spells, so why go for it, I think. I think at this point, just farming is decent. Now,
well,
he does buy something. It looks like it's going to be an Ogre Axe. I wonder if he's going for an Axe.
Oh, long TD, caught out, Burrow Strike in, he's going to go down. And Chrono and everybody, where's the follow-up? Sand King buys back, looking for that epicenter. Will he be able to find it in time, though? maelk locked in place. maelk still not going down. The mech healing everyone alive, keeping everyone alive, as well as that Chen heal. Rockets fly through. EG winning this fight, even with a 4-man Chrono, and Burning caught out, isolated by himself on an island. The epicenter was not there, actually it was on cooldown, and now Burning's probably going to take a fall. One more toss from Fear, not able to find it. The ward even dropped by Universe to give a little increased vision, not enough. But they go into rotk instead. rotk on the back foot, Avalanche to follow, and now the toss could toss him back, trying for it. Oh, it is so hard to find those tosses. You go to do it, and then your hero ends up just stopping. Bulba trying to TP out, Demon as well. Demon will be the casualty of war, but EG are perfectly okay with this. And the Blink Dagger up on Tinker, just going for that offensive build here. 4-staff Blink Dagger, mobility and burst damage. The name of the game, and well, we saw our first great Chrono from Burning, but is it really a great Chrono if there's no follow-up? Not so sure.
Yeah,
didn't work that time.
He focused on Chin wisely. I mean, he wanted to take Chin down before Chin dropped all those heals. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get him before the Chrono, and when the Chrono ended, I mean, maelk just immediately cast his Hand of God. He went for a mechanism, and then he didn't even die, and everybody else on his team was way healthier than they started. So, Burning focus for the Chen didn't actually get him, as his damage output just isn't there yet. This isn't a Morphling. This isn't a hero that, at minute 25, can strength or agility morph and just right-click people to his heart's content. He needs to have a lot more items at this point to be able to do that.
I think he's actually going for Aghanims. We've seen this from Burning before. But the game
I actually commented on that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I actually commented before that. I questioned. I thought maybe he was getting it, but I think there's a chance that that 4-staff, that Staff of Victory belongs to somebody else. It might be. Well, no, rotk already has one.
No, we can actually. No, we can't tell spectators. I'm almost positive it's Burning. Look at. Oh, he almost dies solo to Bulba here. He's going to be forced back, and, well, we're seeing some of the weaknesses of Faceless Void. We saw he can get huge early, but at this point in the game, like you said, he's just not tanky enough. And here we go, bottom lane, burst straight through a maelk. The Pulse Nova doing some damage, but he should be fine. The mech cooling down, and they're going to catch on Super. They're going to pick him off. That club is up on Tiny, and he uses it to perfection there, securing the kill. The one thing that DK have not done yet is go for Roshan, and they do have the dire advantage. Maybe if they can find an opening to do it. They have an Aegis up on, whether it's the Sand King, the Leshrac, or even the Void. That could be a game changer. As if these heroes had 2 lives, I think these fights would be going a lot differently.
I just, when you said using the club to perfection, I just imagined somebody holding a big stick and going, "What do I do with this? Oh, like, what else do you do with it? You smash things." Like, this is a Sasha son of whatever from Game of Thrones situation here. You just hit things until they die.
There's no finesse to that club.
Yeah, stick him with the pointy end, but just bash him with the big blunt end. Anyway, Demon again is finally. It looks like he's got a blink dagger. He's at 2.1k gold. So if he decides to buy it, this could be the start of something for Demon here. We've seen him have a really rough game. Obviously, that top lane did not go well for him. He's currently 1-3-10, a level 11, barely ahead of Zippo as far as levels goes, way behind everybody else on the team. But at middle, we do see an initiation on maelk. We're going to see another Chronosphere drop for him. Can they actually kill him? He does not have Hand of God, so he will go down this time. Of course, rotk having that avalanche helps things out. So finally they get the kill on that maelk. So Burning picking one up there.
It is going to be an Aghanims. The Blade of Alacrity now picked up. Now, the one nice thing about this build is you can use Chronosphere a little bit more aggressively or greedily because the cooldown is much lower. The duration increases, that's nice, but really it's all about the cooldown for me. Having that cooldown just a little bit shorter allows you to use it more offensively. And if he can just find individual heroes like the Chen, then maybe it will be okay for DK. We'll have to see though. He's still going to be very squishy, very easily picked off, especially with, like you just mentioned, the Blink Dagger up on Demon. So many ways to initiate now for EG. The toss into the Roar. The Crystal Mage is throwing, force staffing in, dropping a Nova. The EG have their options here to try and get the pick off.
Well, I think the stats are actually pretty good for him. He's now about 1680 HP. I mean, that's a pretty big increase. So we're looking at 500 more HP there. Is 10 stats is what, 190 strength plus 200 health, so it's about 390 HP actually. So it's pretty big there. Tinker does get another kill there on the Venomancer, but the agility is also relevant. Of course, the intel not quite as much, but an extra second of Chronosphere coupled with the 40-second shorter cooldown down to just a minute. Makes it to where he can pretty much initiate it with it every time. We see a TP in from Bulba, and Burning decides to just kill the creep and not let him get there. I think that's a wise choice, though. A Chronosphere was not available. If he had a Chrono there, he could have maybe tried to drop and kill him, actually. Full 6 seconds there, he might have got him.
Well, whenever Bulba TP's in, he immediately blinks backwards, so that's an easy opportunity to mess up your Chrono and waste it. Like you said, it is a pretty low cooldown now. But at this point in the game, I mean, Burning as well as Bulba were showing a lot of love towards each other in the chat, in the pregame, for anyone who's tuning in who didn't catch that earlier. But I don't think there's too much love for Bulba right now from Burning's end. That burst damage, the laser as well, it's been very aggravating to deal with. It is one of the things about not having a BKB, is you can't really right-click in these team fights, as long as Bulba is able to hit the laser, or you get roared. So right now, he's really just an initiator. He's not a damage dealer because of EG's lineup.
Yeah, one interesting thing I just want to point out is actually Fear has gone ahead and picked up a Quelling Blade. Now that he has that Ag Scepter, that Quelling Blade is going to increase his cleave by a bunch. He's going to take down creeps at a 32% faster rate. It's going to allow him to power down creep waves just so much quicker. I mean, he's already a tiny. He can cut him down pretty quick, but it allows him to also jungle a bit faster, just a little bit more effective. It's a decent little pickup here.
Credit Zippo. He's been dying a lot, but this tier 1 is still stubbornly refusing to die. Blink into the trees by Bulba. And finally they're going to get it. Finally they're going to get it.
That tiny 75% damage. Actually, what is it, 65? No, what's that? No, it is 75%. So 75% extra damage to towers is pretty important here. Now, it looks like Fear's going to go for AC next. He has the plate mail. He's also got the Curus Respirity, so we're going to see no Mask of Madness this game. Looks like he's going to go for pure stats damage.
He's going for the Refresher, too. He's got the Oblivion staff up. Bernie just wants to hit Chronospheres all day long. And, you know, it explains the Rubik pick to some degree as well, because if you're going to go for this build, you do not want them stealing that Chronosphere back. And it's a hero EG likes to run, so...
This is pretty cheeky, isn't it? I mean, he's got a Battle Fury and a Midas. He could have just gone for pure damage output, but he's just going for big ultimate. Interesting. I mean, they have a bunch of ultimates. I mean, Leshrac does a bunch of AoE. Obviously, SK is very powerful. Venomancer's ultimate isn't completely worthless. It does a lot of damage. So double Chrono Spears, 12 seconds of Chrono is a lot of Chrono. I mean, it doesn't matter how much damage you don't do. If you're hitting them for 12 seconds, that's probably going to be enough.
It really should be, especially with a Sankin who's got his level 2 ultimate. He's almost got the Bleak Dagger up. And Shrek, as long as Super just stays the hell back, let Burning go first. You're right, I think those 12 seconds will be sufficient, but like you've been harping on before, if they catch Burning, it doesn't matter. He can still be killed unless he gets very lucky with the backtrack. And the Scythe device, is there one on the way? Bulba's working towards it, and with that Scythe device up, they're going to have a lot more lockdown towards Burning. It's weird to say because it's more of a utility build, and generally utility builds are a bit safer, but to me this is a very risky way to build the Void. Because if it backfires, if you get picked off, you're not going to offer anything to your team. With a BKB, you can at least tank up a little bit, be in the front lines, and be likely to drop at least one Chronosphere. Kind of an all-or-nothing style from Burning.
Yeah, and his attack speed's not there yet. He just doesn't attack very quickly. He's getting a little bit more. He's up to, what, 0.65 per attack? So that's relatively okay. But, I mean, with Void, it's usually all about the attack speed. His damage is high. He's hitting for 200 in an attack, so it's not like he's completely useless. But, again, if he ever finishes that refresher and can actually hit a double Chrono, that will be a team-wide. If he hits a good Chrono twice in a row, I mean, when you hit the first good Chrono, the second good Chrono is almost guaranteed. I mean, if you can't just place the ring on top of the exact same ring you just had, then you're not burning, but he is burning.
Bulba breaking some ankles here on the part of DK. Barry Sanders, and now he's going in. One more blink. That's a bit bold, I have to say. He is way off on an
He had no mana either.
That's kind of just, Bulba's just showing off at this point, but you gotta be careful. Without this Tinker, their ability to pressure the map and prevent DK from going for Roshan is a lot more limited. Well, he's almost got his refresher now. This is just ridiculous.
I wanted to go to the Barry Sanders comment. It's one of those, Barry Sanders had the greatest 2-yard losses of all time. He could run around, he'd probably travel 20 yards and he would end up being like a minus 1 yard.
And you know the thing about it is, this is an American football reference. This is a very shifty player who's very agile, difficult to bring down. But the thing about it was he'd tire out the enemy team, and well, maybe that's what Bulb was trying to do. Just kind of tire out DK, not really physically, but more mentally. It could be fatiguing. Oh, this is a dangerous spot. Looks like a disastrous fight for DK. Nobody can hit on everybody, but they will just back off immediately. EG not ready to engage. They are a bit afraid of the Chronosphere. Oh, Burning netted in place. He will time walk out of that one, and Bulba blinks in. March layered all over the pit, and the EG, maybe an opportunity missed there. They had the high ground advantage. DK had no clue they were up there, and they choose not to engage.
Demon was too far away. Demon was way up in the top side of the dire jungle, so he was so far away he couldn't blink in and get any kind of roars. Without that initiation, Tiny really couldn't just go down there. I mean, if they get Chronocepted or Chronosphere, they're just dead. So a bit of a mistake there from Demon as far as positioning goes. I don't think he fully expected them to actually be at Roshan right then.
This is a big difference we're seeing between last game and this game. Is last game EG took down Roshan. At this point, I believe it was already 2 times. They at least had their first secured. DK have not found the opening for it yet, and it really goes back to the Tinker pick. Tinker is just constantly pushing all the lanes. EG makes it very easy for them to move around the map, and well, here they go with the Assault Caress and Tiny. This will go a lot quicker. If they want to make a go for it, it would be very risky. We saw DK were the ones maybe in a bit of trouble there if Demon had been in position, but if you group up in that pit and Burning drops 2 Chronos on you, you're in a world of trouble. And he's got the recipe, he's almost got it, he just needs the perseverance.
And on top of that, SK has now finished his Blink Dagger as well, so level 2 Epicenter will then follow pretty quickly there, and that's a lot of damage. So I think it's a little too risky to be going for a Roshan on this point. On the Radiant side as well, I just think a Radiant Roshan push into an SK Ultimate and a Chronosphere, that's asking for it. So
Bulba's got a Scythe device up. This could be that initiation they need. They have a Blink Scythe device as well as the Force Staff. Burning! It's done. The Predator may become the prey. This shark might be eaten by a couple of piranhas fairly soon. Although Tinker's not really piranha, but just bear with me on the analogies.
The refresher orb is now complete, so 12 seconds of Chronosphere are now in the books if he so desires. Now, of course, he doesn't necessarily need to throw down all at once. He can go for one battle of the Chronosphere and then have another one immediately after that for a second smaller battle or something, but I think it's very likely he's looking for a double. Now, EG are going to do him a bit of a favor here and kind of clump up in the middle lane right after he gets the refresher orb, so they don't even know that it's done yet. Although, oh, actually, they do have vision down there, so if they click on him, they do know he has it. I'm sure somebody has been given the duty of checking burning to see when that thing is complete. So they now know.
The ultimate bait. Although now the team's left him, so he needs to run the hell away. No burning. One leap in. He's gonna catch two. No, he only catches one. A demon with the big blink. Oh my goodness. The roar available. It will be dropped. Second chronosphere could be used. Burning on the twins at the center. Whips almost completely. Just gonna catch demon and maelk at the end there. Burning. Second chronosphere still has not been used. Refresher activated. Chrono number 2. Not gonna use this for Universe. He wants bulba or maybe fear. Not fighting anybody in fear. Locked down. Caught in place. Big damage. Burrow strike through. Fear should take a fall, and burning. Didn't even use the second chrono, Nebula. Didn't need it. One was enough, and now Roshan is theirs. DK looking very strong. It only took one chrono.
That first chrono wasn't even good. It was a bad chrono. Yeah, I mean, Demon did a clutch dodge of that, and they basically just stood there and wailed on Crystal Maiden forever. She didn't end up dying for a long time. They finally got her down, but what was really big there is the SK ultimate, while it didn't hit immediately, the Burrow strike afterwards did catch 2 heroes, and it was Demon and maelk, which is pretty important actually as far as team fight goes, and they took him down in fear. Because of his low mobility, because he went for those trenches out of the faces, it actually took him a long time to actually kill the Venomancer, and he focused a long time on Veno, and that allowed him to just take a bunch of damage from the DK team, and afterwards he really didn't accomplish a whole lot. So despite the fact that they have a pretty fat Tiny who does a lot of damage, he wasn't actually able to go for it. Wow, interesting. They actually put the Aegis on the ledge track here. I think it's a good choice, actually, because of the chronosphere. I think the damage output from his ultimate's actually too big here.
They feel that burning cannot be burst down. That's the only reason they give the Aegis towards Leshrac, and he's a great candidate to hold it because he's got BKB up now, but more importantly, Leshrac is like Storm Spirit. You want to blow all your mana, lose all your HP, and then come back to life and do it all over again. So he's really their big damage dealer in these team fights. Burning is not the carry in a traditional sense. He's an initiator, a very farmed, very tanky initiator, but still an initiator.
Yeah, so his ultimate is really, it just does so much damage. If they hit a chronosphere and they follow it up with any kind of big burning, I mean, he does have that bloodstone, so he can channel that a long time. I actually think I don't think even they're too worried about burning dying, but on top of that, I think that just the damage from him is actually higher than burning. I think his damage output is greater at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I think if anything, burning is set up for Super's ultimate, to be honest.
Right, yeah, I'm with you. Burning is that initiator, Super is the damage dealer, and the Sand King if Long DD can find the openings. Well, DK with an Aegis up, it's only the first of the game, surprisingly, 37 minutes in, but it does go their way. They're smoked up, maybe looking to make something happen here. It's going to be tough against Tinker. He's always so elusive around the map, and for the moment, EG a smoke of their own, heading towards the bottom lane. 2 ships passing in the night, nobody going to find each other, so DK, they're going to be happy to farm. Now, as this game goes later and later, I still feel DK can take it ultra late game, even though Burning's gone for this build. One big damage item or even a BKB, he'll be completely unkillable, and like you said, Leshrac does a lot of damage. RTK very tanky in his own right, Blink Dagger and Force Staff up on him. And it looks like we might have some initiation on the creeps. Burning not going to go for Universe, not going to go for Fear. This is ballsy of Fear to stay here. Chrono available, gets stunned, roared, locked in place, burst down. Burning does have the buyback. Will he use it is the question. Blink in, Hex and Long DD. Burning needs to buy back. Will it be too late? Force that bit on CM. Long DD held in place. Burning buys back. Burning looking for the time walk in. Only going to catch maelk with Chronosphere number 1. Barely at that. Just catching him on the tip. Meanwhile, Universe running for his life. Looks like maelk should go down, but where is the damage? There's nothing. They're going to get him. Finally, they're going to get him. There you go. They bring him down. They only get Universe and a Chen in exchange for a Burning buyback. EG completely okay with that. Now the Chronosphere being used, not really relevant.
Just the tip was enough there. Now I do want to point out that they actually did get Crystal Maiden as well on the backside here.
Right.
They did get 3. I don't actually think that was a wonderful exchange. He wasn't forced to use the Refresh Orb, and again, the Refresh Orb has a much longer cooldown than the actual Chronosphere at 60 seconds. So if they ever make him use the Refresher, that'd be pretty big. Now, of course, if he uses the Refresher, there's a good chance that battle didn't go well for EG. So not necessarily a big goal to ascertain there for EG.
Look at this from Fear. Ultimate Orb. Is this another Scythe of Vice? Is it a Manta style? Where the hell is he going with this?
Is he gonna go for Big Frost Scotty? I don't know. I think it's probably gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be a Manta style. He's picking up the Blade of Alacrity now. I think Manta style is probably the choice. I mean, he does so much damage that a Manta is just gonna be pretty important here.
Yeah, look at the attack speed and the move speed. He's just mowing those down.
That is awesome. I really like Carry Tiny. I think it's one of the coolest things. And he's all leveled up now, looking glacial and baller. I just love this new Tiny. I really like the direction that teams have really taken the Tiny, and I know Bamboo's very happy about the. Maybe you should tell LD to unmute. Anyway, I really like the direction that the Tinies have gone. I know many of my friends who are big Tiny players really love this as well.
Oh god, I was muted for a really long time. I am very sorry, guys. I have no idea how that happened. Well, we are unmuted now.
How long were you muted for?
I have no idea, to be honest, but we'll just pretend that never happened. I was not muted in client, if anybody's listening. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh no, that's rough.
Well, they heard you, Nebula, and hopefully it was enough to get an idea of what was going on.
that is quite bad. Anyway,
we'll pretend that one never happened. All right, moving right along. Bernie has 3k gold in the bag. He's got his next item coming soon. Does he finally go for some sort of damage here? Does he just go for more initiation with the BKB? I don't know, but the rate Bernie's going, he's not really going to have any damage items come late game.
Yeah, I mean, he's got none, right? He just doesn't have any. But I mean, he does hit for 250. The problem he has here is he needs to buy attack speed because his hero just doesn't hit hard enough or fast enough right now. But he needs to buy damage because his hero doesn't also hit hard enough as well. So he doesn't hit enough or hard enough. So he's kind of got, well, which problem do you solve first? Honestly, I think the attack speed problem is going to be the one that he goes for, and it's likely to be something like a Manta style. Because of that long Chronosphere time, the Mantas can do a lot of work. I do believe the illusions are able to move through his Chrono, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. It's why we saw. It's why we saw Complexity. They went for a Necro. They went for a very unusual build on Void a couple months back, and I've seen Bulba's experimented with too in some in-house games. You go for a Necro 3 and a Manta style, and then your minions and your illusions do all the work in the Chrono. So that those Manta style illusions can hit. But even so, they're not going to be they're really not going to hit that hard. A lot of this damage... Oh, Bernie gets caught out. Blink into Scythe. Avalanche as well. EG catch him out. Double Scythe. But in comes Long. You need Burrow Strike in 2. This could be a huge turnaround. Bernie is going to time walk away. Not manning up here. Super comes in with the BKB. Looking for maelk. Maelk taking some damage. It's not enough. And then the Roar goes on the Long DD. No epicenter. He goes down. Bernie chooses not to fight. Perhaps a mistake. The BKB is now to arrive. Now he can look to turn things around. And he needs the damage. He's got to go in now. Chronosphere only hitting on Universe, and it's not going to catch Fear, but he's got another one to work with. Is going to use it now. Second Chronosphere on life. BKB rearmed, ready to go again. Double BKB available for Bernie. He will pop it now. Where's the damage? No Leshrac. They're just not getting the kill. He's coming back to life. Now that Leshrac will be here, but is it enough? No. Void time walks away. I really can't believe Double Chrono's not getting the more than one kill, and only a CM. Nebula, where's the damage for this team? Oh no.
I mean, we talked about it. This is the problem. He even made a BKB now, so he's continuing to get no damage anywhere. Super is really their carry at this point. At this point, Void is an initiation that is a massive AoE stun for a long period of time, but if Super's not there, they just don't get enough damage. He just absolutely cannot do enough. Void he just doesn't hit enough. And he's not doing anything.
Here's the other thing, is EG have so many ways to dodge out of that Chronosphere. The double Blakes, the Force Staff. Actually, sorry, is it triple Blakes? No, it is double. The Beastmaster and the Taker. But the double Force Staff as well, the one up on the CM, and the one up on the Taker. There's so many ways for them to dodge out of that Chrono. Burning, normally Void Chrono is pretty hard to mess up in a team fight, but when you have this kind of mobility and the amazing reactions of players like Demon, well, they can, and Bulba, they can get away, and we'll have to see if they can make anything happen. That Refresher is on cooldown, the BKB. Here's the other thing, sure, you rearm that BKB, you get to use it twice in the fight, but he is chewing through the charges at an alarming rate, already down to the 8-second duration after one fight.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, really. The Refresher's down for 70 seconds here, so while he has another Chronosphere, it's going to be a little bit longer before the Refresher's available. Now, through all of this, it's not to be kind of lost over here that Fear is getting really fat. The Mana Style is done. He's got 1,900 gold, and Tiny does way more damage than this Void is ever going to do during this game. Now, if they actually catch Void, or if they actually catch Fear in one of those big ultis, then they're fine. If they can catch Fear, and if they catch Fear and Bulba, I think they win. If they don't catch both of them, you at least have to catch one. The last battle, they caught the Crystal Maiden with the first one, and they had to just use the second for Fear. But Fear's at 2.7k, and they didn't have enough damage to actually do anything with it. So, if they are unable to do that, I think Fear is actually going to out DPS him and just cleave everybody to death.
Yeah, you also have to keep in mind, although there's backtrack and bash on Burning side, there is craggy exterior on the part of Fears, and that is a very obnoxious spell deal. Well, he's definitely going to out DPS him now. DD Rune picked up, the bottom tower goes down to Bulba, and here comes the push. Fear in the back lines with the man style picked up 3k gold in the bag. Here's the other problem for Burning is there's really no transition because everything he's bought, sure, it's kind of utility style build, initiation build, but these are very expensive. This is not a Blink Dagger where you can just replace it. This is a Refresher Orb and an Aghanims, two of the more expensive items in the game. He can sell the Midas, he can get one item if he wants, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you just go for a rapier? Like, solve all your problems
Maybe
in one fell
do.
swoop with spear damage?
I actually kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, the Midas is really the only spot that he can afford to trade. I mean, he can turn the treads into, like, BOTs, but honestly, I think that's worse. He needs the attack speed. And so you sell the Midas, you lose 30 attack speed on top of that, and then your only real option is to make, like, a rapier. I really don't think that there's a whole lot going on here for Burning it. He has no item spots.
Do you sell something big, like maybe not the Refresher Orb, but maybe something like the Battle
Fury?
Yeah, the Battle Fury.
Maybe. If you sell the Midas and make a big item, and then sell the Battle Fury and make another big item, then I think you're okay. Maybe you go for like an AC Rapier or something like that. But
even then,
that's the problem. The problem with this build is I really don't think the BKB was a good choice. I understand why he made it, and BKB is always a fantastic item, but he doesn't have a spot for it. He has a Refresher Orb and an Axe. He can have two of his item spots, and of course he has Treads. That doesn't leave him with a lot of other places.
To me, the last time we saw Burning do this build, his team was dominating a lot more, and then I think it's a great build because you already do enough damage with the Battle Fury. But in this game, it's really not enough. Also, EG, very quick on the reactions, even with that 200 pain, which, by the way, DK do have some... they do have a bit of delay of their own, about 250, 300 pain for both teams. But, nonetheless, they go into Roshan, they won it, and Burning in here, in the front lines, will he find an opening, will he run away? Massive army of a bunch of crap just charges into the pit. It will be worked out, but Fear looking for the opening. BKB up on him. He is about as big as he can get as well. Avalanche hits on 3. Oh, great start for the fight. Will be enough toss back in. Bulba picks off Sandcade. Immediate buyback. Where is that Chronosphere? Not using it. Trying to man fight here with Fear. Like you said, Fear is winning that fight. Burning is going to actually pop the second BKB charge. The second Chrono, not yet used, will be placed again. Only hitting one hero. Oh, Burning, this is not enough. Bulba blinks in. Scythe up on Burning. Second BKB charge already out. Burning will be locked down. Will be picked up. I cannot believe a Void with this many items is not getting kills. But damn it, Nebula, he's just not getting the kills. Buyback on the Sandcade. Zippo will go down. Sandcade comes in, but Long DD is way too late. And now RTK Bulba, relentless pursuit for him. Axes fly in, blinking after the axe, then a roar for some style points. They're going to get another kill. Double Chronosphere used, double BKB used, buybacks expended on multiple heroes, and they don't get the Roshan. An absolute disaster of a fight for DK.
I said it early on, and I stick to it. I think it's too cute. The Ag Scepter is a great item. I think the Refresher Orb is too cute. You're going too big. You're using too much, and you're not actually doing anything. You can hold him in place for 12 seconds. He held Fear in place for 12 seconds, and Fear didn't die. Like, that's all I have to say. Like, he doesn't do anything. He just can't do enough. I mean, they're so reliant upon Super, and Super has a cast. Pulse Nova isn't going to magically do more damage. I mean, he can buy an Axe Scepter to make it a little bit stronger, but it's not going to do any more than that. We're going to see an initiation here, and again, Tiny doesn't have a cap. He can continue to buy items and continue to hit harder, whereas Burning really can't do anything else.
Oh, Super. BKB is used. Fear really doesn't care. BKB is activated on him, charging on the Super. Not going to kill him just yet. And Burning in the middle of the fight. Has the Chrono back up. Scythed up. Held in place by Bulba. Laser as well. Burning taking some big damage. Not enough. Bulba's just going to force that away. There you go. Chrono only for Bulba. Where's the damage, though? Burning not doing enough here. Healed up by the Bloodstone. Will it keep him alive? No! Burning trapped in his own Chronosphere. Picked off, and Fear is the one in the end. That big right-click melee damage dealer. Fear does it. Pushes the team over the hump with some great support from everybody, especially Bulba, who to me is the MVP of this game. Absolutely everywhere with the blink, the sight, the force staff, dodging so many spells. EG are going to take it. GG comes out from DK. It was a creative item build. It was something we don't see very often, and in the end, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, and I really want to go back to the Tinker comment, because if you look at every single battle, every time it felt like EG were going to lose a battle, all of a sudden Tinker was there. Tinker was in every single... Bulba did not miss a confrontation. He TP'd in at all the right moments. He was always there immediately. He got very farmed and fat, and yeah, I mean, this build just didn't do it. I mean, I'm okay with an Ag Scepter on him. I think it's a decent item. Lowering the cooldown's pretty good. I think going for a refresher is too much because you don't have anywhere else to go.
Right.
You just can't build any other items. You need like 9, 10 item spots for that build to really work.
Maybe if you're a lone druid or someone else chronosphere, then it works out a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I also want to point out is getting a refresher orb on Faceless Void. Well, his ult only has a minute cooldown. That refresher orb is a lot longer, so it doesn't really have great synergy there. It's not like a black hole where both of them have long cooldowns, so it makes a lot of sense to get. Either way, that does it for the series. I thought this was going to go to Game 3 when I saw Bernie with a 13-minute randomized Battle Fury, but EG, just too coordinated, just too strong. Perhaps better item selections, perhaps better team play, perhaps better individual play. Whatever it was, EG do it. They wipe out DK in 2 games. They move on to the round of 4. This team has not dropped a set yet in the Beyond the Summit World Tour, and they're only 2 wins away from actually winning the tournament. Great play by EG. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com. He is Nebula. Nebula, thanks for joining me, man. It was a